Half the morning passed before Lord Janus reported as commanded. John was cleaning Longclaw. Some men would have given that task to a steward or a squire, but Lord Eddard had taught his sons to care for their own weapons. When Keggs and Dolorous Ed arrived with Slynt, John thanked them and bid Lord Janus sit. That he did, albeit with poor grace, crossing his arms, scowling, and ignoring the naked steel in his Lord Commander's hands. John slid the oilcloth down his bastard sword, watching the play of morning light across the ripples, thinking how easily the blade would slide through skin and fat and sinew to part Slynt's ugly head from his body. All of a man's crimes were wiped away when he took the black, and all of his allegiances as well. Yet he found it hard to think of Janos Slynt as a brother. There is blood between us. This man helped save my father, and did his best to have me killed as well. Lord Janus, John sheathed his sword. I am giving you command of Greyguard. That took Slynt aback. Greyguard? Oh, Greyguard was where you climbed the wall with your wilding friends. It was. The fort is in a sorry state, admittedly. You will restore it as best you can. Start by clearing back the forest. Steal stones from the structures that have collapsed to repair those still standing. The work will be hard and brutal, he might have added. You'll sleep on stone, too exhausted to complain or plot, and soon you'll forget what it was like to be warm, but you might remember what it was to be a man. You will have 30 men, 10 from here, 10 from the Shadow Tower, and 10 lent to us by King Stannis. Slynt's face had turned the colour of a prune. His meaty jowls began to quiver. Do you think I cannot see what you're doing? Janos Slynt is not a man to be gulled so easily. I was charged with the defence of King's Landing when you were soiling your swaddling clothes. Keep your ruin, bastard! I am giving you a chance, my lord. It is more than you ever gave my father. You mistake me, my lord, John said. That was a command, not an offer. It is 40 leagues to Greyguard. Pack up your arms and armour, say your farewells, and be ready to depart at first light on the morrow. No! Lord Janus lurched to his feet, sending his chair crashing over backwards. I will not go meekly off to freeze and die. No traitor's bastard gives command to Janos Slynt. I am not without friends, I warn you, here and in King's Landing too. I was the Lord of Harrenhal. Give your ruin to one of you blind fools who cast a stone for you. I will not have it. Do you hear me, boy? I will not have it. You will. Slynt did not deign to answer that, but he kicked the chair aside as he departed. He still sees me as a boy, John thought, a green boy, to be cowed by angry words. He could only hope that a night's sleep would bring Lord Janus to his senses. The next morning proved that hope was vain. John found Slynt breaking his fast in the common room. Sir Alistair Thorne was with him, and several of their cronies. They were laughing about something when John came down the steps with Iron Emmet and Dolorous Ed, and behind them Molly, Horse, Red Jack Crab, Rusty Flowers, and Owen the Oaf. Three Finger Hob was ladling out porridge from his kettle. Queen's men, King's men, and Black Brothers sat at their separate tables, some bent over bowls of porridge, others filling their bellies with fried bread and bacon. John saw Pip and Gren at one table, Bowen Marsh at another. The air smelled of smoke and grease, and the clatter of knives and spoons echoed off the vaulted ceiling. All the voices died at once. Lord Janus, John said, I will give you one last chance. Put down that spoon and get to the stables. I've had your horse saddled and bridled. It's a long, hard road to Greyguard. Then you'd best be on your way, boy, Slynt laughed, dribbling porridge down his chest. Greyguard's a good place for the likes of you, I'm thinking. Well away from decent, godly folk. The mark of the beast is on you, bastard. You are refusing to obey my order? You can stick your order up your bastard's ass, said Slynt, his jowls quivering. Alistair Thorne smiled a thin smile, his black eyes fixed on John. At another table, Godfrey, the giant slayer, began to laugh. As you will, John nodded to Iron Emmet. Please take Lord Janus to the wall, and confine him to an ice cell, he might have said. A day or 10, cramped up inside the ice, would leave him shivering and feverish and begging for release, John did not doubt. And the moment he is out, he and Thorne will begin to plot again. and tie him to his horse, he might have said. If Slynt did not wish to go to Greyguard as its commander, he could go as its cook. It will only be a matter of time until he deserts then, and how many others will he take with him? And hang him, John finished. Janos Slynt's face went as white as milk. The spoon slipped from his fingers. Ed and Emmett crossed the room, their footsteps ringing on the stone floor. Bowen Marsh's mouth opened and closed, though no words came out. Sir Alistair Thorne reached for his sword hilt. Go on, John thought. Longclaw was slung across his back. Show your steel. Give me cause to do the same. Half the men in the hall were on their feet. Southron knights and men-at-arms, loyal to King Stannis, or the Red Woman, or both, and sworn brothers of the Night's Watch. Some had chosen John to be their Lord Commander. Others had cast their stones for Bowen Marsh, Sir Dennis Mallister, Cotter Pike, and some for Janos Slynt. Hundreds of them, as I recall. John wondered how many of those men were in the cellar right now. For a moment the world balanced on a sword's edge. Alistair Thorne took his hand from his sword and stepped aside to let Ed Tollett pass. Dolorous Ed took hold of Slynt by one arm, Arn Emmett by the other. Together they hauled him from the bench. "No!" Lord Janos protested, flecks of porridge spraying from his lips. "No! Unhand me! He's just a boy, a bastard. His father was a traitor. The mark of the beast is on him. That wolf of his. Let go of me. You will rue the day you laid hands on Janos Slynt. I have friends in King's Landing. I warn you." He was still protesting as they half marched, half dragged him up the steps. John followed them outside. Behind him the cellar emptied. At the cage, Slynt wrenched loose for a moment and tried to make a fight of it, but Arn Emmett caught him by the throat and slammed him back against the iron bars until he desisted. By then all of Castle Black had come outside to watch. Even Val was at her window, her long golden braid across one shoulder. Stannis stood on the steps of the King's Tower, surrounded by his knights. "If the boy thinks that he can frighten me, he is mistaken," they heard Lord Janos say. "He would not dare to hang me. Janos Slynt has friends, important friends. Oh, you'll see." The wind whipped away the rest of his words. This is wrong, John thought. "Stop!" Emmett turned back, frowning. "My lord?" "I will not hang him," said John. "Bring him here." "Oh, seven savers!" he heard Bowen Marsh cry out. The smile that Lord Janos Slynt smiled then had all the sweetness of rancid butter, until John said, "Ed, fetch me a block," and unsheathed Longclaw. By the time a suitable chopping block was found, Lord Janos had retreated into the winch cage, but Arn Emmett went in after him and dragged him out. "No!" Slynt cried, as Emmett half shoved and half pulled him across the yard. "Unhand me! You cannot! When Tywin Lannister hears of this, you will all rue." Emmett kicked his legs out from under him. Dolorous Ed planted a foot on his back to keep him on his knees as Emmett shoved the block beneath his head. "This will go easier if you stay still," Jon Snow promised him. "Move to avoid the cut, and you will still die, but your dying will be uglier. Stretch out your neck, my lord." The pale morning sunlight ran up and down his blade as Jon clasped the hilt of the bastard sword with both hands and raised it high. "If you have any last words, now's the time to speak them," he said, expecting one last curse. Janos Slynt twisted his neck around to stare up at him. "Please, my lord, mercy, I'll go. I will. No, thought Jon. You close that door. Longclaw descended. "Can I have his boots?" asked Owen the Oaf, as Janos Slynt's head went rolling across the muddy ground. "They're almost new, those boots, lined with fur." Jon glanced back at Stannis. For an instant their eyes met. Then the king nodded and went back inside his tower.